had just been reading a book a lot in my earlier days. Conference of the Birds is the name of the book. It's a very mystical book. And it says, one title of the chapter is Full Moon in the Valley of Death. I looked up in the sky and it had the full moon. And there, I was at the border. I sat down and someone was sitting there waiting. And he said, would you like to come? I'm going to the Green Hotel. And I said, yes. And we went to the Green Hotel. As soon as I arrived, this man came. He did give like this. He was giving me respects and saying, oh mother, you have come. Oh mother, you have come to honor us. Let me serve you. He put out this huge feast on the ground, and I had already restricted myself from eating, really, until the food was offered. Well, this food was offered in plenitude. As I ate it, I said, I will have to die now. It's full moon in the Valley of Death, and I I just had collapsed. I ate the food, and then just for 3 days I couldn't move. And it was no problem. That was no problem. I just accepted it. That's what the sign was. It said, let this go. After 3 days or so, I just got up and went on the journey, and I felt wonderful. I was completely restored. I want to say again something about my beloved friend, Daniel Moore, is that he passed away 1 year ago, a little more than a year ago, in a beautiful, exalted way. And we had been preparing for that for 50 years, saying, "O procrastinating one who thinketh not of the coming of death." Well, he had prepared. And even in this small way, eating the food that was presented to me, surrendering my life, I was preparing again. And this has been going on, and every time something happens in our life that is a kind of mini death, let's give in to the eternal life. And this is very important when you see the disasters of this time, that life goes on after death. And I pray for all those great beings that I have both met and not met, who have passed through the doorways consciously. And part of what we're doing here is inviting people to wake up to the eternal dimension of their own existence and let go of what is going to pass away. It's inevitable. Just recently, I was traveling on a journey to Morocco, and I suddenly couldn't really walk. I wasn't even able to walk. I came back, got some therapy, figured out what was the problem. I had 2 torn meniscus in my knee, and on the anniversary of Daniel Moore's passing, I went to a memorial at the house of my dear friends, Malika, his wife, and our small group of friends that were assembled there, one of whom is a knee therapist, a very close friend of mine, but I didn't even know that. I mentioned this to him, and he said, you must go to such and such a doctor. And several months ago, I went into surgery. As I went into the surgery, I saw different patients and united with them. Everyone that I saw, I felt that I was uniting with them. Every medical person, the nurses were there as a part of like a divine assembly for me. And all of us together, the nurse was looking at me and just gave me a big hug, and I, her, you know, this was the preparation for that passage. First, love all lives as your own, then continue on your way, then surrender everything. So I laid down on the place to receive this gift of God, really, transformation. And there's 2 words in Arabic. One is called fana, the next is called baka, there's another called lika. Well, fana is annihilation or surrender complete. You let yourself go totally. Baka is the restoration after death. And lika is another level of elevation beyond. Well, as I laid down, the whole place became filled with light, and the hospital became like what I will call a mosque of light. It was a cathedral of lights, really. When I came off the bed, I was like completely well. And they wanted to give me crutches, but I didn't need them at all. They gave me a cane. I used it for 10 minutes. When I came back in the house, the people that we live with, I was just like flying back into the house. Why? What is the meaning of this story, of this little story? I went back, way back to India 50 years back, and then come all the way over here. And I will say all those years in between, it's the same paradigm. It's the same paradigm. Die before death and live forever. Again and again by the grace of God. Again and again by the grace of God, we're uplifted. So whatever needed to be done to my knee was not done by the doctor. The doctor was an instrument of God's grace. So part of the message I'm giving is, let it all unfold. You know you have to die before death. You have to let go every minute practically to get to the next level. And if you're walking, sometimes we can say spiritually, you're in a dark night of the soul on a high mountain, you don't know where you are. Then the sun rises. How amazing, look where you got. Look where you arrived after that difficulty you faced. And in the Quran it says, surely with difficulty comes ease. So part of this message is, let the ease come through the difficulty and embrace the grace. Let the grace heal you of anything and carry you to the next place. So everything that happened to me, every single thing that happened was choreographed by divine grace and carried out according to the divine plan.